So I know a lot of you guys have concerns about needle alignment when replacing the faceplate, and so I'm gonna just show you guys the best way to go about doing this. So once you got your cluster apart, or even before the install, you're gonna wanna take 3 pictures before taking any needles off. The first picture is just with the key completely off. What position are you in? Because it changes and varies between on, off, and accessory. So the first picture is with everything off. So we're gonna turn the truck onto accessory, and you can see the speedometer needle jumped. Some of these might jump a little bit, like the fuel is actually coming down. And just to show you, like rear fuel tank. So it is kind of a good idea to have the fuel on, whether it's full, you know, fill up the truck. So I know my rear fuel tank is full, and you can see that that's where it sits. And then I'm going to turn the truck over, so I'll take a picture of the accessory. And again, just notice the speedometer, it raised just a hair above where it was resting. And then when I turn the truck over, so with the truck turned over, I'm going to take another picture. And you can see that these have moved. Obviously the truck is cold, so don't do this if the truck is hot, because by the time you're done installing everything, the truck will be cold again. I can kind of get an idea of where my RPMs are. Speedometer, it hasn't changed, but it is raised just a hair above this little marker. So we'll turn the truck off, and you can see even the fuel's moved from when it's on to when it's just an accessory or off. So now I'm going to show you how to pop those needles out. So we have these bolts out already, but we're going to first take out these little pins. You might have 4 or 3 depending on the year of your truck. And then what you can do is you can use 2 spoons. I'm just going to use 2 little pry tools, and you're going to want to put them one on each side. Put your finger over it and push down evenly, and it will just pop them off. And so this is probably easier to do once you got your pictures. Pull the cluster out completely, but we can show you another one here. And we're just gonna pop them right off, just like that. These ones are a little bit hard to get to, so you would take them out again, but this one's a little more on. And again, you just want to push down evenly, and then it pops off. So we're gonna go ahead, put the new faceplate in, and then we'll show you how to put the needles back on. Okay guys, so we got everything in, and now's a good time again just to check for your bulbs, make sure everything is illuminating right, and that you don't need to reverse the polarity on any bulbs. And before you go crazy and you know, install everything, you're kind of just, you know, once you remove the old stuff, you're just going to do a dry run, and we're going to put the plugs back in. So we got one here, got one here, and we got one here. Now what I like to do is I like to turn the key to the accessory and then turn it back down, and we know that the tack was resting on that plug, just like so. The speedometer was up, it just raised off that just a hair. So it just takes a little bit of playing with, just like that right there is good. So just raise just a hair off that plug. Put the cap back on. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the key on to finish these 3, because I know the position of those when they were on. And again, just reference your pictures. So we'll turn the truck over. And again, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, this was actually sitting right about there, at about 1500. I'll turn it off. I was sitting actually a little bit lower, looking at my picture, a little lower. sitting about there. Truck off. There we go, so that's just right. And then the fuel was all the way to the right. So I'm just gonna make sure that I'm positioning this as far over. I'm gonna switch to the other fuel tank. And again, I'm just referencing the pictures that I took. So it wasn't quite empty, so this might be sitting a little forward. So this has to come over just, it was all the way over. Now we go to the rear fuel tank. Perfect, so now this was on cold, obviously, and it was past that little tick. It's like so. Oil pressure. Sitting just over here. And then the battery was about in the middle. It's about there. So now I'm just gonna turn the truck off. Fuel does move a little bit. Turn it back to accessory, and then we'll turn it on again. So yeah, you can kind of see here in the picture where the speedometer or the tach was, the speedometer, the normal, the oil pressure, cold, so cold, and it might be getting a little bit warm now because we just started it a few times. And then the fuel can be adjusted just a hair more, I think. This is good to do, like obviously my truck was filled. There we go, that's good. But like if you're on half a tank, then it's a lot easier if you've run the truck to about half a tank or to any one of these ticks as a better reference than it just being full. But if I'm looking at my picture and I'm looking at this, it's looking all really good. So you can go just push everything down. You're not looking for anything to click. You're just pushing them down just to make sure they're on. And push straight down. Just like so. And it's okay if you move it, because it's obviously gonna go back. And that's it. So that's all you have to do. It's not as terrifying as you might think. Another good thing you can do before you put everything back together, take it for a little drive, make sure your speedometer is accurate, make any little micro adjustments you need. But at the end of the day, as long as it's really close, a lot of these things like oil pressure and things are just a reference. It's not telling you true oil pressure. I think it's when it sends 15 pounds of pressure, then it moves it. So nothing crazy. You're again, like your tach and stuff, that you can adjust, and as long as it's really close. Obviously the most important one is probably fuel, speedometer. Your cold's gonna be good, so take it for a drive around the block, let it heat up, make sure everything's reading the way it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's not a crazy thing. You guys don't need to worry about you know, will my needles be on? As long as you take good references, good pictures, off, accessory, and on, you guys will be fine. So hope that helps. If you guys have any questions, let us know, and we'll see you soon.